So when it comes to mythic weapons, the first thing to understand is that just using a mythic weapon actually grants you a damage multiplier. You can see this graph inside of your gunsmith, and what it shows is that for epic level weapons, legendary weapons, and mythic weapons, you're going to have a different multiplier, a different damage multiplier based off of what armor the enemy has. So if the enemy has epic armor, for example, and you have an epic weapon, you're going to be doing a 1x damage multiplier, meaning it's just going to be what you would expect it to be. There is no damage multiplier. It's just 1 for 1, what you would expect it to be. But if you have a legendary weapon and the enemy has an epic level vest, you are going to be having a 10% damage multiplier. That means the legendary weapon is going to hit 10% harder, okay? 10% more damage. And then if, again, the enemy has an epic level vest and you have a mythic weapon, a mythic weapon is going to hit 20% harder. 1.2 multiplier is going to be 20% harder. So you can see that if you were spawning into hard mode and you're thinking, well, all I need is epic armor because that's what the game tells me, and you are running into players with mythic level weapons, mythic rarity weapons, they are doing 20% more damage. On top of that, if we flip it around and we say you are spawning in with an epic weapon and the player you're going up against has a mythic vest, you are doing 30% less damage than you normally would. And you are doing 50% less damage than they are doing to you. You are doing 0.7 and they are doing 1.2. The difference is 50%. 50%. Okay? That means they are going to knock you way faster than you are going to knock them. And so this, ladies and gentlemen, is the beginning of the mythic meta in Call of Duty Mobile DMZ. The mythic meta is people wearing mythic vests and running mythic weapons going up against the poor souls who are running epic weapons and epic vests. It's just not even fair. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you how to actually leverage the mythic meta here and everything you need to know. So let's move on to the next point. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Santos here, and today I bring you a major revelation. I have learned how to use mythic weapons, how to understand the statistics, the damage multipliers, the affixes, and how to unlock all my attachments. I'm going to be sharing this with you today. It has taken me tens of millions of dollars and tons of hours of research and use in the battlefield. So if you have been wondering why you're getting completely melted by these weapons out there and why your weapons don't seem to do that much damage as other weapons are doing to you, or you're just confused about how to unlock all your attachments or what the heck these affixes really are about, I'm going to reveal all that here to you today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Santos. I'm a legendary DMZ Call of Duty mobile player, and in the first 4 days of DMZ dropping, I actually managed to get into the top 1,000. Took me about 100 crates to unlock the Ouija skin. I made a video on how to do this, and now I create tutorials and guides for those of you who are interested in grinding DMZ, whether it's for getting the Ouija skin or simply because you enjoy the game mode. And there's so much to learn and understand about this game that I create guides and tutorials and reveal to you what the best tips and tricks are so that you can become a better player, dominate, have fun playing the game. So if you're into this kind of thing, you're in for a treat in today's video. Thank you so much for being here today and watching. Okay, now that we've talked about the damage multipliers that mythic weapons have, let's mention and touch on what the affixes are. I did a whole nother video going in depth into the affixes, so I'm not going to do that here in this video, but I am going to touch on them because it's really important to understand what they are and what kind of, let's call them buffs they give to these weapons, because affixes really are buffs and they make the weapon stronger. So if you can see underneath the statistics and above the attachments, there are these two affixes that my RAM 7 has. One of them is reload time reduced by 20%, and the other is damage multiplier increased by 30%. And what that means is that this RAM is going to have a damage multiplier on top of the mythic damage multiplier it already has. It's going to get an extra 30% damage multiplier. And then it's also going to have a reduction in its reload time by 20%. So you can imagine that if we already have a 50% damage multiplier greater than those players who are running epic weapons, now we are going to have a 70% damage multiplier, meaning it is almost hitting twice as hard as what an epic player might be running with. And let me show you how you can test out this damage for yourself. When you go into the gunsmith, you can actually hit that button right there that says try, and it's going to let you into the practice range, which a lot of players don't know even exists. But you can add bots just like you could on any other mode. We can also add plates to the bot. So we're going to add 3 plates to it. We're going to save it. So now this bot right here has 3 plates and an epic vest. So let's see what kind of damage this does. I take a shot. It's hitting 36. Every shot, 36. 25, 25, 36. At the chest. 27, 27, 36. At the head, it's doing 40. Let's see the legs. Legs, 26, 25, 25. Okay. So you can see that this weapon, 36 to the chest, 36. This weapon is supposed to only have 25 damage, and yet it has a damage multiplier that's hitting as hard as 36 to the chest and taking out the bot much sooner than a normal RAM would. Now, just to kind of test this out for peace of mind and for the sake of science, we're going to go ahead and swap this out and go with the epic RAM. This is the epic RAM right here, and we're going to try it out and go into the training grounds. We'll equip the bot with the exact same vest, and we will see if this bot takes the same kind of damage or not. All we need to do is come on over to this little area here, put on the support vest, the epic one, same one we had before, and then give it 3 plates, which was what it had. So now when we come in and shoot it, 30, 25, 30, 27, 30. We're not getting the 36 anymore. We're just getting 25 and occasionally 30. In the legs, 25, 25, 25. That's what it's doing right here. You can see the difference. Now, instead of hitting 36, it's hitting 30. It's hitting 27. Yeah. So you can do this for every one of the weapons that you have, and you can test out different rarities. You can test out this epic level weapon against a mythic vest, for example, to see how it does and how hard it hits, and the kind of dampening effect that it'll have. So now it's hitting 21, it's hitting 19, look at this, 17, 17, 19. It's hitting, but it's not hitting very hard. This is epic weapon versus mythic vest. You see it's hitting 20, 19, 17. Let's see to the legs, 25. Now the 25, the specific vest doesn't have any coverage in the legs, so it still hits kind of hard at the leg. So if you have an epic weapon and your enemy has a mythic vest that doesn't cover the legs, you're actually much better off shooting the legs. You see that? 21 up top. 21 up top in the chest. Let's see the head. 27, 22 at the head, and look, 25 in the legs. So when you're running up against a mythic armor wearer, it might even be better if you have an epic weapon or a legend weapon. It might be better to shoot the legs than it is to actually shoot even the head. You see, the head is being protected. It's 22. Now let's go back and see what kind of effect, what kind of damage the mythic RAM is going to have on a mythic vest. You would expect, right, based on the numbers that we see in the damage multiplier chart, we would expect it to be stronger than the epic RAM, of course. So let's take a look. We just go to the target, we put on the same mythic vest, and we increase the number of plates. We max it out. Remember, this specific armor doesn't have any coverage in the legs. So we should see an effect at the chest. Oh, there you go. See, 25, 25, 25. Whereas before, ooh, 40, 40 to the head. Look at that. So this weapon really can actually contest another mythic. This mythic weapon, of course, can contest someone wearing a mythic armor. Now at the legs, 25, 25, 25, the same as the epic weapon. But to the chest, it's doing 30. It's doing 30. To the head, it's doing up to 40. So this is the difference. This is the difference, and it's very noticeable in a gunfight. It'll be the difference between you just getting shredded completely and feeling like, what the heck just hit me, right? And that's a mythic weapon against an epic vest, which if you're running mythic vest, you got to get with the meta, get with the program, at least be running legendary vest. Because a legendary vest, let's see the composite right here, will at least hold its own. 33, 33, it's still hitting hard. 30, it's still hitting very hard. But it's better than the epic vest, I tell you that. Look at that, 30. So you can come into this mode and check for yourself, you know, get your weapon of choice and see how hard it's hitting. Compare it against different vests, different parts of the body, and really do the investigation, do the science, reveal to yourself, you know, prove it to yourself. You don't have to take it from me. You can just come into the training grounds and see for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Now that you've seen what the mythic meta is all about, the mythic advantage is all about, let's talk about attachments, because it's going to be really important for you to unlock all of your attachments so you can get as much of an advantage as you can. And when it comes to advantages, when it comes to attachments, there really is pretty straightforward. Every attachment that is locked will have two requirements. So one requirement is going to be a certain level that you have to have. So for example, for this 150 round belt, I need to have unlocked, it unlocks at level 29. And I also have to repair this weapon. I have to repair legendary or higher 2 times. I have to do those 2 requirements to be able to unlock it. Same thing over here. We got a bipod. I have to sell the legendary raw 3 times and then get it to level 17 to get the bipod. Because I haven't sold it twice, I don't have it unlocked. So let's see, what other thing do I not have unlocked? Let's see, yes, the barrels. So we've got a mythic barrel right here. I have to get to level 33 for the weapon. And then I have to extract with the legendary raw equipped with any 5 epic attachments or higher. Okay, so let's talk about this. The level 33, the easiest way to unlock that is to go to your gunsmith and tap on the top right up here where it says weapon level 35, this little arrow on the top right. When you click on that, you'll see that there are certain attachments that require you have higher levels, 15, 16, 17, 37, and you can just use your XP cards, your weapon XP cards to upgrade this weapon. So for example, I can do 1 level or 2 level or infinity, right? All the levels, and just hit upgrade. It's going to cost me a certain amount of cards. I have plenty, don't care, so I just use them, and voila, I've gotten my weapon level requirement met. Now what? Well, now I have to actually do the other thing that it asks me to do. So in the muzzles case, we were seeing this one asks me to extract with equipped with any 5 epic attachments or higher. Now this is sometimes an issue because this raw, for example, does have 5 attachment slots, but sometimes when you buy a weapon, you don't get enough attachments to actually unlock that. And let me show you why that is. So let's go to the LMGs. You have the raw, and you can see here the attachments, the barrel, the sight, the stock, you see, the perk. There are these little dice icons. And what that means is that when you purchase a weapon, you might not actually get those 4 attachments. In fact, you have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possible attachments for this raw MG. And guess what? The one that I have doesn't have 9 attachments now, does it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, it only has 5 attachments. And this other raw I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attachments. Can you see the difference? These are the exact same weapon rarity, and yet one of my rolls has 4, 5, 6, 7 attachment slots, and the other one only has 5. So what that means is that if an attachment is asking you for, let's say, 5, 5 epic attachments, and yours happens to only have 4 slots, what you're going to have to do is buy another legendary or buy a mythic. But, be careful, because even the mythic one has the exact same issue. So if I go to LMG and I do, there's no mythic roll, but if I do the mythic MG, you can see it also has 4 different attachments that are all have that dice icon on them. And so you might not get those attachment slots. And in that case, you just got unlucky. You have to buy a different one. So the reason why COD Mobile, Activision, wants us to buy and sell weapons has to do with the with the affix. The affixes are random buffs that you get on your weapons. I did mention that I did a whole deep dive into affixes, and you can watch that video on my channel. But it's worth mentioning that the affixes, as well as the attachments, are random. They're based on luck. And so buying and selling weapons, we can call that affix grinding, is just a part of the game where we have to buy and sell weapons, not only to get the best affixes, but also to get the most attachment slots and also to unlock the attachments. So the way for you to actually get all your attachments unlocked is going to be by fulfilling whatever requests it's asking you to do here. Unlock the level and then do whatever challenge it's asking you to do. If that challenge is one that asks you to equip attachment, then you might have to do some buying and selling of these weapons just to get more attachment slots, just so that you can complete those challenges to unlock your attachments and max out your weapon. So this is what it takes, to level up your weapon and get some god tier mythics going, because Lord knows mythic meta is here and people are one-shotting. I'm getting one-shotted by snipers now. I'm getting 2-shotted, 3-tapped by marksmen now, and I'm even getting 1-tapped by shotguns. And I have mythic armor. Okay, this is all happening with mythic armor. So at the moment, my loadout that I'm using, my god tier mythic loadout, is the Ram 7 for close quarters and mid range, and the SO14 for mid range to long range. I don't recommend this loadout if you don't run a 5-finger setup, or marksmans are a little bit difficult for you to use. If a marksman is difficult for you to use, I recommend you go with an AK-47 or a mythic AK-47, and then a close quarters SMG like mythic Fennec. Okay, so those are my recommendations. If you want to check out my gunsmith, this is what I have so far, but do know that I haven't been able to unlock all of my attachments, and that is because the attachments require me to do a bunch of crazy stuff, like buying and selling 6 of these mythics. Actually, I think I unlocked some of them, but here's an example. I have to use SO14 with 6 epic attachments and eliminate enemy players over 40 meters. So I haven't been able to unlock all the attachments. It's a bit of a grind to unlock all your attachments, but just look at what they're asking you to do and give it what it wants. And that's just all we have to do to get these weapons maxed out. But these are currently the gunsmiths that I'm running at the moment. And, at the end of the day, that's what we have to do to keep up with the meta and be able to defend ourselves against mythic players, or players who are abusing this mythic meta. If you do not have the funds to get mythic gear, then I do suggest that you try some of my looting strategies that I put out in a previous video. You can find different ones at different skill levels, and if you're not at the highest skill level, if you're not really able to fight that well due to your device or due to skills, then you're gonna have to go legendary loadouts, because you're just not going to be able to afford mythics. But legendary loadouts will be able to at least hold their own, and if you see somebody with mythic gear, you defend yourself and you run. That's pretty much what you can do until you are able to afford and level up your gear to mythic, because that's where the whole game is going, and that's what I'm seeing is happening. Nowadays, I'm getting, I think I said, 1 tapped by the snipers, by the marksmen, 2, 3 tapped, and by the shotguns as well. So be careful out there. And for now, I am signing off. Thank you for listening. Let me know what your questions are in the comments, and I'll see you later.